Hey guys, this is Kerry, and in this video we've got a pretty simple agenda. We're going to be adding some style to our About Me pages, and what that will mean is adding some text colors, background colors, and changing the alignment of some of the text so that some of it is centered or right aligned. But regardless, we're going to be working on our About Me page, so we've got to open it up in our browser. So we'll go to our repl.it. Now for me it's really nice because it just opens it up like this. One time when I opened it, this sidebar had been collapsed. So if you just click those three lines, then it will show you this menu on the side. So we want to get to our folder, which contains all of our programming for the class. So we click that, and then we click our About Me file. All right, so as it loads up, the first thing that we want to do is we always want to run our code so that we can take a look at it and see how it looks. So one thing that I haven't shown you guys yet is this is like kind of the programming screen, and if you want to share your website with like a friend or a parent or whoever, it wouldn't be good to share this with them because they could just go into the code and start changing things, right? So what we can do is we can actually see the location of our website online, and if we press this open in a new tab button, this link right here is actually a link to my website. So that's pretty cool. But one thing that you notice, especially on this screen to me, is that this website, as interesting as these facts are about me, my favorite movies, it does look kind of boring compared to other websites on the internet because it's all black and white. So today we're going to change that and we're going to add some style to our website. So we go to our About Me page. This is the HTML file, so this is where we add all the content for our web page. But we talked about this in the lesson. We want to be changing the style, so we actually want to be using a different file, a different programming language, not HTML. We're going to be using CSS. So we'll switch over to the style.css file. All right, so you can click back and forth between these really quickly, and I'm going to be doing that kind of throughout the lesson here. It's nice to have your window kind of large for this screen as you do this. All right, so the first thing is the way CSS works. So to do CSS, what you're going to do is you're going to be starting off by, it's a two-step process. Select an element, apply the styles. And I'll show you what we mean using an example here. So if we go to our page, let me just resize this, sorry. Okay, if we go to our page, then what we want to do is, let's say we want to style this About Me. We look in the HTML and we're like, okay, I gotta select this About Me element. Well, here's the code that created that, right? So this is the H1 element. So the way that we select this About Me element is we go to our style.css and we say, okay, select the H1. Notice that there are no less than or greater than signs, no angle brackets, none of these. You just put the H1. And then we use these curly parentheses, which you get by doing shift. So I'll zoom in there. You get by doing shift the keys next to the P button. And yet I always set it up so that there's one on the top line, one on the bottom line. And what that is it's creating a group. And inside of here we can put as many lines as we want. And each line is going to be indented. So press the tab key. And it's going to be one style per line. So the first style that we're going to do is we're going to make the color of it something else. So when you type in color, it comes up with all these choices, which is awesome. So let's see, I'll do, sorry, some of these colors are weird. I'll do, I don't know, fire brick. And then you end your line with a semicolon. So let's press run. All right, so it's selected our H1 element and changed the color to fire brick. All right, let's see if we want to change. Well, I'm going to skip the H2 and I'll let you guys do that. Let's see what happens if we change our H3. We want to change the color of our H3 element. So we go to our HTML. Okay, basic facts. Well, that was the H3. So to select this, I'm going to be using the tag, the H3. Zoom out. Okay. So we go to our style.css page. We type in H3 because that's what we're selecting. We press enter, and now it's all set up, so let's add some styles. So I'll make the H3 blue, and you can even type it in. All right, so let's press run. All right, so my H3 is blue, but something interesting happens here. If you scroll down on your website, you'll notice that it's not just the single H3, it selects all of the H3s and turns them blue. And that's actually kind of a nice feature, because if you think about websites that you go to, they have like a common style applied throughout the page. So it's nice that by selecting the H3, it changes all of them. But there is kind of a lingering question here. What if we just wanted to change the first one? Is there a way to do that? And there is, but we're not going to talk about that today. What we are going to talk about today, though, is in addition to changing the text colors, which I can maybe say, like, I can check off that we did that. Time to do the background colors. So to do the background colors, well, we already used color, and that was for the text colors. So if you just start typing in background here, you can use background. And background, let's make it green. And now we run it. Oh my god, that's a horrible combination. So if you want to change this, you can delete all of that stuff. Background, maybe yellow, and run that. Okay, that's a little better. And now the background color for those H3 elements is yellow. So you can see that what's happening here is inside of this group, you're creating a list of all of the styles, one per line, and they always end with a semicolon, and that's really important. All right, so that's how we change the background colors of these elements. And you can change the background elements of your paragraphs. Well, let's see how we would do that. For paragraphs, that's a P tag, usually like this, right? But in CSS, we just write the P. So selecting the paragraphs, and let's make the background of the paragraphs pink. And now we've got some pink background for our paragraphs. And there's lots of other CSS that we can do here where we can change the spacing so it's not right up against the border. We can change the distance between the paragraphs. We can change the size of the paragraphs. We can change the font. We can do a ton of stuff. But maybe it's good to just do a couple of things at once today. So now we know how to change the background colors of the elements individually. But this leads to a really interesting question, I think, which is how do you change the background color of the entire website? And the way that you do that is, let's go look here. So we didn't actually type this in, but I'm looking for, is there a tag that surrounds the entire website? And it looks like here's the H1, here's the H2. Okay, so here's the body element, and that body tag, starting and closing, surrounds my entire website. It starts before the H1, and it ends after the UL. And so this entire website is called the body of the website. So if we select the body of the website, notice that that matches the tag here. So we're selecting the element that is the body. Then what we're going to do is we can make the background light green. And we press run. And now we've got a nice light green background on our website. And if we want to see this fully popped up, there's our website right there. Now, one of the problems that you might run into is even with that huge list of colors, this light green might not be the light green that I want to use in reality. So one thing that you can do is, instead of being limited to that list of colors that comes up, you can actually Google color picker. And then for color picker, you can take this and you can slide this around wherever you like to find the color that you want. So maybe I really wanted like a light green that was lighter like this. And then Google will actually give you a code here called the hex code, and we'll talk about that some more later in the year. They'll actually give you this hex code, and if you highlight that and copy it, if you go back to your About Me and you delete the words and you paste in using a Command V or Control V, depending on your computer, that code, it will actually change to that color. Now the advantage of this is that you get to choose any color you want, really, and you have like some fine-tuning adjustment available. The disadvantage is that this name is much less descriptive than these names here. All right, so the last thing on our agenda here, in addition to changing all of these colors, was to change the text alignment so that some of it was centered. So to me, the headline of the web page would maybe look nice centered. So the headline, that was the H1. So instead of making a new H1, we would never do that. What we would do is we'd say, okay, well, H1, we want to add another style to it. So let's go to our first style, press enter. And then the code word, instead of color or background for this is, you can actually just type in text align. And what's so cool about REPL is it comes up with a whole bunch of suggestions that you can experiment with. But text align is the one that we want for this. And you need to put a keyword here. So it's, okay, we want to take the text align property and we want to give it the value of center. And so now that's centered. This text align property can take a couple of other possible outputs or values, which could be right aligned, and then you'd have it right aligned. Its default, it starts off with, is left aligned, because it's on the left side of the page. But I liked it better as center, so I'm going to put center here. All right, so now we know how to change the text color, the background color, and the text alignment of our web page. And if we pop our web page out, mine doesn't look very good because of the color choices that I made, but yours is probably looking a lot better at this point. All right, guys, so you know what you need to do to earn credit for today's class. I didn't show you every step along the way, but I think if you take the tools that you learned here, I think you'll be able to figure out everything you need to do to earn credit. All right, guys, see you in class. Bye.